Hi there, I'm Holly McDonald with the Costa Mesa Pod, where we discuss all things concerning the lifestyle, businesses, and activities that make Costa Mesa such a great place to live. Today I have Greer Wylder, who is well known in our community. She has built quite a name for herself, and I'm so excited for her to talk to us a little bit more about what she's got going on. So Greer, thanks for being here.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited to talk to you today.
Thank you. So let's start off with just like who you are and kind of some of the accomplishments that you've had.
Okay, so, I kind of started out a long time ago at the Daily Pilot. I had a popular column for, I think like 14 years. So I started out at the Daily Pilot. I had a popular column. And then in 2005, I got laid off, which was really a bummer. At the time at the paper, I was writing about lifestyle, same kind of things that I write about right now. Anything to do with retail, restaurants, a lot of charities, a lot of events, like new store openings, things like that. I really enjoyed it. I was popular. I'd say my column was very popular. It was also in the Huntington Beach paper, Laguna Beach. And for a bit, there was even a paper up in Santa Monica that I wrote for. So I got laid off. I was not one bit happy about that, but I decided after a few weeks of being down that I really could do what I was doing without the newspapers. I could create my own website and send out an e-blast that kind of talks about all the things that I was writing in my columns. So that's how I created Greer's OC, my website, and my Daily Dose, which is Daily Dose of OC, which is my e-blast. And it kind of was successful right from the get-go. And I think it's because I already had a following, and I named my website Greer's OC, because it's like my Orange County, the things I like in it. And I never write anything negative. I don't want to do that. But that's what I've been doing for the last 17 years.
Yeah, well, and it's kind of like the perfect timing. I mean, obviously getting laid off sucks, but with the advent of, social media and internet kind of replacing newspapers in a way, the timing actually is kind of good for you.
Yeah, well, when I started in, I think 2000, actually it was 2006 when I started it. Really, social media wasn't as big back then as it is now. There was YouTube. I think there was Facebook, or was just about, it was smaller, it was more a college thing, I think. But now that social media is so huge now, that's also a big part of my business is social media. And I also do social media. I'm like a social media manager, sort of content creator for small businesses and nonprofits. So I do that as well. So I kind of am doing two businesses at once.
You just dabble in all of it, but it's all very lifestyle focused.
Yes.
And
so it's fun.
Yeah. And so you're a local, is that right?
Mm-hmm. I grew up in Newport. Well, originally I'm from Reno, Nevada, which is kind of odd, but I'm originally from Reno, Nevada, but I moved here when I was about 7 years old to Newport. And then I have lived in Costa Mesa, I think for the last 32 years. I bought a home here, and I still live in the same house. So I love Costa Mesa.
Yeah. So what are some of your favorite spots? What are some of Greer's go-tos?
Gosh, that's a hard. Well, I love Lido Village. I think it's so great. I love what they did. I love the remodel and how it just, like, when we were kids, we used to hang out at Lido Village. And then it just kind of like died for many years. And now that it's all been rebuilt and remodeled and, restored to like even better than it was originally. So I love Lido Village. And I just love 17th Street. There's everything, on 17th Street. I live close enough to 17th Street that I can walk. So now, there's lots of great restaurants and shops, and I really do love 17th Street.
Yeah, those are some
So
good picks. Lido Village
yeah.
definitely has had like a rebirth. It's so cool.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
17th Street, yeah, you're right. Like everything is right there.
I know
So,
that I love that center. Now I'm going to draw a blank of the name. Um, it's like, oh gosh, it's where they have a group. They have Millennium Coffee. Or
yeah, I
do you
think
know
I
what
know
I'm
where you're talking
talking
about.
about?
Is that the
Milligram.
one?
Okay,
Yeah.
Milligram Coffee. They're putting in a new, I think, Italian restaurant there. I love that little center, and I'm drawing a blank on the name, but it's awesome. Like
Oh,
it's
it's
like
so cute.
it's kind of like the new place to hang out now.
Yeah,
I
don't they
really
do
do love
music
that.
and stuff? I think they do music sometimes in the evenings and all of
Yeah,
that. Yeah.
they have like a tiny little farmers market now on the weekends. They have flowers and just all the shops and things in there are really cute. I do love that.
So with
So
your Greer's OC and your daily dose, how do you kind of pick what you're going to put in there? It's just essentially anything you see in the area that you like, or how does that work?
yeah, it's kind of a mix. I do get about I'd say maybe 200 pitches a day from
Oh my
different
gosh.
PR people. I know it's really crazy. So I'm being constantly pitched, but I mean, I'm on lists. So, I'm also getting pitched for things that are happening in San Diego and in Santa Barbara, kind of all over. But I
Wow.
have to sift through my emails and see what I think like is like the best of the best, and
Yeah.
then I'll do some of that, and then I'll do some things just on my own that I like to find out all by myself. So it's just kind of a mix. Also, it's like word of mouth, people telling me about things or things I see online myself, so
Oh,
I feel like there's no shortage of content because Orange County, there's always something new here. It seems like there's always a new restaurant or always a new store or an event or something that's going on. So it's such a cool community.
yeah, that's actually, I've been talking to some people about like a blog that I'm working on about people that have been like transplants to the area and why,
Hmm.
why they like Orange County essentially. And
Hmm.
so many people have said that there's always something to do. And like for every age group, like every sort of interest, you like can't be bored here. Even,
Yeah,
and I mean, the weather's great. So it's easy to have all of these events and not necessarily have to worry so much that it'll be a rain out, or anything like that.
that's so true. Yes. And we're super spoiled, just like in our restaurant, like culinary choices, we are so spoiled in Orange County. We
Yeah.
have almost like every kind of cuisine you could think of is here. So, and I mean, especially like, oh my gosh, our Vietnamese food and Mexican food is like the best of the best. So we're
Oh, yeah.
super, super lucky.
Oh, I feel like Costa Mesa too, specifically, is very much
Hmm.
a melting pot of different cuisines. You don't necessarily
Hmm.
get that if you go to some of the more quieter communities that are a little bit, they're more of the box shops and less of like the interesting, unique places. But Costa Mesa
Hmm.
is a little bit more eclectic and just has a
Yeah,
wide range. Yeah. Awesome.
totally.
I would love to hear some more. So obviously now you are an author, like of a
Uh-huh.
book. Let's talk
Yes.
about that. What's the name of the book?
Here we go. I just so happen to have one right here.
Perfect.
My book is called Born in OC, The Artists, Entrepreneurs, and Visionaries of Orange County, California. And this book has been something on my mind for, gosh, I think like at least maybe even a dozen years. I started an Instagram probably a dozen years ago. I just like started it. I didn't do anything with it. And I have bought the domain back then. So it's just something that's been on my mind for a long time. But actually in early of 2020, I was on a run because I love running. I've run like 35 marathons, I think, like crazy amounts of marathons. But I was on a long run, and when I run, I always like do like thinking about things like my business or my life or my goals or family, everything.
Yeah.
I like to like problem solve when I'm running in my
Very
mind.
mentally calming, yes.
Totally. And so I was on this run, and then all of a sudden I started thinking about this book and this idea, and I like stopped and I was like, oh my God, I think I need to write this book. I just think it would be the best idea. And my idea, well, two things. One thing was everything that I do as far as writing on my website and social media, it's just all ephemeral. It just disappears. It's like, it's never nothing tangible. And I thought, gosh, if I wrote a book, it's like at least like I'll have something to hold or something and be like, I did this, just kind of like for myself. And then also when I was growing up here in Newport Beach, I didn't have any mentors. I didn't have any anything to aspire to or look up to, or anyone kind of guiding me, I would say. And I'm not saying I turned out in a bad way, but I think it would have been really much more beneficial if I had someone that was looking out for me. And so I highlighted 50 people in Orange County that are making a difference. And I'm hoping that younger people, like young adults, will read my book to get inspired by what these people have accomplished, because all of the people in my book are like self-starters. They're just really super amazing people. And a lot of them are, give back to our community in a big way. And so that's kind of why those are the two reasons why I wrote this book.
Okay. So who are some of the people that you've highlighted in the book?
I mean, there are like people that are super well known, like Dean Koontz, who's I think probably the most prolific best-selling author of our day right now. It seems like I could be wrong, but I think he writes almost a book a year. So he's written so many books, so successful. And then there are people like Dean Koontz, who's super well known. And then there are people like my friend Zoe Stevens, who is not known at all. But he's just as amazing, in my opinion. He has type 1 diabetes, which is a disease that one of my 4 sons has. And he's raised over $1 million for type 1 diabetes by doing paintings at like events and galas and that kind of thing. So he auctions off these beautiful paintings, and he's raised more than $1 million. Like, that's super cool. And he is a artist at Disney. So, and he's pretty well known in like the art world, Zoe Stevens. So yeah, I love him. But yeah, just kind of like there's a mix of very well-known people and then people you might be like, I don't even know who this person is, but they're interesting. So.
Oh, wow. It kind of reminds me of like Darren Hardy and like Success Magazine, and how he went and, kind of took a toll on all of the successful people and figured out, what's like the through line? I mean, is there anything aside from them being self-starters? Mm-hmm. Do you feel like there's any like combination of what makes these people so great in Orange County's landscape?
Well, I always knew someone was going to ask me that question. And I think that what's kind of unique about these people, a lot of these people in my book, is I feel like they're super community focused. I think that they also help each other, like different nonprofits. There's quite a few nonprofit people in this book, like Working Wardrobes and Goodwill is in here. The executive director and the Working Wardrobe founder is in my book, and they like help each other out. When things like, for instance, okay, so Working Wardrobes, I believe it was Working Wardrobes or Goodwill. I'm drawing a blank now. One of them caught on fire. It was really bad. Like it was, I think in early 2020, one of those buildings caught on fire. I can't remember, but the other charity like let them come in and like use their facility. Like, it was amazing. I think it was Goodwill that caught on fire. Anyways, I could be wrong. But like, I just feel like a lot of like these charitable people, they help each other out, and they kind of, they're all very well connected, and they do nice things for each other and for other people. So I think that answers your question. I hope it does.
Yeah, you're right. Well, and I think it's like, if if they're charitable in one aspect, they're probably charitable in most aspects, right? So it would almost be hypocritical if they weren't. And I think that is a beautiful thing, because you always think about people or businesses that compete against one another, but what you're saying is they kind of work together, build each other.
Well, I mean, charities, they do have to compete against each other as well, because they're all looking out for money. You know, they all need donations, you know, but what's neat is they all help each other, which is so nice.
Yeah, that's great. Well, it's so nice that you had this idea, and you know, now it's come to print. So
yes,
I hear you have some book signings coming up. What's up with that?
I do. So my first book signing, I'm super excited. I actually just changed the date today, the date and venue, which is, I hope doesn't throw too many people for a loop. But I originally was having my book signing on December 10th at the A Market in Newport Beach, but I've gotten so many RSVPs, and I was a little concerned that it might be too crowded. So I changed the date to Monday, December 9th from 5 to 7 at the Lido Theater. So,
nice. That's a great venue.
So I'm super excited. Yeah. And it's, you know, it's all been restored recently. And it's just beautiful. And so that's going to be super fun. I'm really excited for that one. And then on January 10th, I'm doing a book signing at the Costa Mesa Library, which is such a beautiful, that's also a really cool building that's been redone recently. Do you know which one I'm talking about?
Yeah, it's beautiful.
On the west side, it's beautiful. Yeah. So super excited. That's, I think, at 6 o'clock on January 10th at 6 o'clock. And then I also am going to have a few other book signings in January. I just don't know the dates yet, but one's going to be at the High Time Wine Cellar Bar, which will be super fun. And then another one at Zob's, and that's probably going to happen in Tustin. Zob, the chef Zob, she's also in my book. So she offered to do a book signing lunch. So that's super nice.
That is so exciting. I feel like one day you'll be in your own book, because look at how you put it together. Aww. Well, first of all, you've done and built such a name for yourself, but then you brought this idea to life. Like, it's your baby, and now here it is.
I think writing a book is really, it's an overwhelming situation, because I've just never written a book before. So there was a big learning curve, you know. I did have friends that have written books, so they gave me good advice. But I think writing a book it really takes a lot. So I have a new appreciation.
You have a writing background, but I'm sure it's so different when it's literally hundreds of pages.
Yeah, that's true. Definitely. And just, you know, everyone in my book was very, very busy. So I'm so grateful for them, because they took the time, you know, to talk to me. And some of these interviews took like 3 hours. So, but I did have, you know, had to condense them so they'd all fit. So one wasn't just like a whole book, you know. So there was a lot of editing to get the book just right. But yeah, it was a time consuming situation. And a lot of it, I started the book in January of 2020, but then COVID happened, you know, a couple months later. So that was more difficult, you know. Well, we did a lot of interviews on Zoom, you know, but it was a thing.
Thank you so much for being on the podcast and sharing more about who you are and what you do. Oh, perfect. Well, good luck with everything. I hope to see you at one of the book signings, and I really appreciate your time. Bye.